Greetings. My name's Luke Smith, and I'd like to buy your vacant Einstein Brothers Bagel building in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm making this video to tell you about who I am and why I'm asking for some time in this offer. Let's jump into it. I found this property on Crexy. I use Crexy a lot, and Justin is on here. Justin answered the phone, called me back. He answered a bunch of questions, told me about the property, a good deal. Thanks, Justin, for talking to me, and encouraged me to make an offer on this property. I looked at a couple different things, and I love data. That's part of who I am. So I love data. My background is buying properties, desert squares in the middle of nowhere for a couple $100s and selling them for a bit more on the internet, making presentations. You can go back, you can watch my YouTube videos about those kinds of properties going back to, many years ago, 1,500 videos or something, 1,400 plus videos. And I look these properties up, and I do data, I make offers, and I buy them, and I sell and buy them. So I work my way up from a couple $100 properties to a little bit bigger dollar properties to bigger, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, $500,000 plus kinds of properties. And somewhere along the way, I got into these high traffic retail properties, and I started studying these properties and looking at them as who could go here, what other names could go here. If I have these two shops next to each other and my land's in between, who goes well between those two shops? And studying their traffic, studying their business, studying who they are and what they are, and figuring out who to go market to put into that land in between those shops. And instead of two shops, it might be 6 or 10 or 12 or whatever. And so doing that data on land, I've gotten to know a lot of the players that like to work these kinds of shops. And so I've got databases and contacts and good network to work those properties. And somewhere, over time, moving from just land to buildings, vacant buildings like your Einstein Brothers Bagels building in Chattanooga could take a new tenant. And I think it could be worth more money with a new tenant in there. But it's hard to find a new tenant for these buildings. So that's where I come in. That's what I'd like to offer you is my services, find a new tenant for this thing. So let's jump into some data sets. I'll give you some examples. Just recently down the street, Dutch Brothers Coffee went in, and they opened November-ish, and their traffic started taking off. They went from no customers to 17 or 18 or almost 20,000 customers a month now that they're getting into that shop. So they took the land and they turned it into a building, and they made it happen. Right next door to that is Captain D's. Captain D's has been there for a while. They've been doing like 10,000 customers a month, and then when Dutch Brothers moved in next door, their business went up. It went up a good deal. It went from 10,000 customers a month to 32,000 customers a month. Like they started getting more customers than the Dutch Brothers. 24,000 customers a month after that initial spike of a lot of people probably waiting in line to go to Dutch Brothers. They just went to Captain D's instead, right? And so new business is happening in just down the street from where we're at. I like to study that. It's part of my story of presenting a property like this to people that want to go move into this property. Like, look at the business that's happening down the street. Dutch Brothers looked at this market and they liked it. They moved in, they got land, and they went for it. I looked at the land that they got. It used to be crazy buffet, sushi seafood place, and they bulldozed that and they put in the Dutch Brothers. I was wondering if the Dutch Brothers parking lot hooked up to the Captain D's that's here, and it doesn't. I was studying that, and they don't hook together. Like, these people, when a Dutch Brothers opens, they probably had a good line going, and people just, went in next door instead. And then the other one that's really nice in the area that I'd build a lot of the information in this off of is Jimmy John's. Jimmy John's is straight across the street from Captain D's and the new Dutch Brothers, and they're ranking 82 percentile right now. The Captain D's, let me go back to the Captain D's. The Captain D's ranking on this thing, I was looking at the Captain D's ranking, and their numbers are off the charts. This is like one of the best Captain D's in the country. This is number 6 out of this rankings matrix. 543 Captain D's in the country that are mapped out and ranked and stuff, and customer volume, this is number 6. That's really good. So fried fish and sandwiches. So we got two different kinds of things that fit the kind of footprint that your shop is, the square footage footprint that your shop is. And there's other sandwich brands that I think would go great in here that are not here already. There's other fried fish and people that go well next to Captain D's and next to Jimmy John's in the same kind of market. And Jimmy John's, Captain D's are an example. It's two examples of the marketplace. I look at a whole bunch of the names up and down the street, and I see that more names are moving in up the street, and I take that data and analysis and take it to the guys that I know that like these kinds of locations, say, hey, here's a shop for you, and I offer them the financing. I offer them to resurface a shop, make it theirs, their grand opening budget, get the employees in there, redo the outside, redo the inside, redo the kitchen, whatever they need to make it happen. I jig the numbers accordingly, but make it really easy for them to move in and use this shop how they want to do it and just pay rent from there. And so I'll present it to these guys, and that's why I'm asking for time in my offer. I'll present it to them in that way about what's happening in the neighborhood and why they should take this shop, and the customers and the flow and the synthetic numbers of how much sales they should do here based on what the neighbors are doing, and charge them rent accordingly, move them in, make it happen. When I get one of them to go for it, I'll go close with you as fast as I can. That's why I'm asking for some time to go talk to these people that I know I talked to before, got their information and know what they like and what they want, and hand it to them on a silver platter and get them to go look at it and understand it, say this is right for me, and then I say, okay, let's close, pay cash, close the thing as fast as we can, and I'll go work with them and make it happen from there. So if you're interested in that, if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to give me the time that I'm asking for and the offer that I'm presenting, let's do it. Let's go re-tenant this thing and make it happen. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Luke Smith. See you in the next one.